I think I want to do some hair. Now for the hair, I'm going to base it out in marker, but I'm going to, instead of Copic markers, I'm going to use my Tombows. So I'm just going to kind of get a sense of how they look on this paper. I'm going to do the hair. And I like these Tombows because the Tombows, hello Nia, welcome back today. Yeah, there's no problem with mixing markers. So I like the hair to have some texture in the marker underneath the pencil. So that's why I think Tombows are just fine for it. So I'm going to start, let's see, I'll start with the very darkest brown. Oh, don't be sorry. You can pop in and out how you like. No big deal. I'm going to use this $8.99. This is the Tombow dark brown. And again, using directional strokes. So since the hair is going in this way, I'm just going to go ahead and do the same. And you'll see I rotate the paper quite a lot. Let's see here. Unfortunately, I will not be offering a PDF version of my new book. That's because my first book got stolen quite a lot, and unfortunately, the hassle of trying to file copyright claims is just really crazy. Takes so much time, and it's really stressful. So I'm not going to be offering a full PDF of the entire book. However, there are quite a lot of pages from my book in the Etsy shop already. So if you do prefer PDFs and you do want to color from pages in the book, then there are some available already up there. So, and I'll be creating more new pages that are circle portraits for my Etsy shop in the coming months. So you guys can look out for those. But yeah, because of all of the theft and the copyright problems that I incurred, I'm not going to be offering the book as a full PDF anymore. It was really very discouraging. You put thousands of hours into your artwork and then somebody takes it and sells it themselves. So yeah, it's just really not worth it. I'm sorry about the shipping costs. Like I said before, I really, there's nothing I can do about the cost that it is to ship. There's a lot of different types of paper you can print on. What kind of media are you preferring? That'll really determine your ideal paper. Yeah, Nia, I was, for the most part, I've had a very positive experience with the coloring community, and I love, love, love the coloring community. But there's always some bad eggs that kind of ruin yeah, so I just have to protect my artwork now, and unfortunately, it's the rest of us that suffer. Like, I love offering PDFs in my Etsy shop, so that's why, like, after the book is done and shipped, I will be putting more back up on my Etsy shop that are fresh new pages for you guys. Because I do like offering those. I find I like printing and coloring my own, like, other people's pages too. So totally get it. But it's just, since this book has taken me 6 months of really hard work, and I just want to protect it from theft. Oh, my Etsy shop is lauracolorstoo, so if you just search in Etsy lauracolorstoo, my name will pop right up. I try and make it easy for you guys and use the same name everywhere. So I'm just going in the darks and kind of adding more depth to the dark areas first. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, there are a bunch of pages from the book in my Etsy shop. The early pages that I started before I decided to make a book, those are all available online. So you can see I'm leaving some areas the paper color. I'm actually going to give some shiny highlights to her hair. Much easier to do if you don't put anything down in those spots. Yep. Okay, it's getting there. I like this color a lot. So I'm using this for like the medium to dark color. I like to use at least 4 colors of marker in the hair if possible. Depends on the hair color, but generally for the base marker, I like to really give it a lot of depth. And then when you go over it with pencil, it's mostly just like refining things. Okay. Oh yeah, Nia. Tombows were my first markers I've ever tried, and I was really nervous about using markers before. But yeah, once I started using them, I found they were so much fun, and they speed up the process quite a lot. The time it would take to get pencils this dark would take so much longer than the one stroke that I need from the marker. So yeah, and I like the Copics, especially for skin tone where it's a little easier to get a smooth blend, but they are quite smelly, and I have a sensitive nose, I guess. So I do prefer these Tombows for most of my work, just because they don't smell, They're water-based. I just really like them. Doing this tiny little detail here. And the brush tip is just so much fun. Really, really cool. And they seem to be working beautifully on this paper. Really smooth. Yeah, please do. Okay, so paper for markers, pencils, watercolor pencils. Yeah, so my favorite paper, the paper that I use to do mixed media for my artwork is called the Strathmore Bristol. Here, let me grab the pad just to show you what it looks like. One moment. Now, I'm a lady who doesn't like a toothy surface, so I use the Strathmore Bristol Smooth Surface. This is 270 GSM, and it really does very nicely with water media. It's very much like a mixed media paper, but it's just, it's got a different sizing and a different tooth to it. That's the paper I use. It may not go through your printer, depends on your printer at home. It is a very heavy paper, but you can usually take that to, you'll have to cut it down to the right size, but then you can take it to a print shop and they will print that for you, no problem. And I just love that paper. I haven't used it for coloring. I usually just use the cardstock that comes from Staples. So, but I'm usually just using markers and pencils. But if I wanted to watercolor, then I would take that Bristol to my local print shop and have them print on that. You can also use a 90-pound hot press watercolor paper. The cold press is really toothy. Some people love that and some people don't. But me personally, my preference is a smooth paper. I would use a hot press. The hot press is a lot smoother surface, and the 90-pound probably will go through your printer okay. That paper is great because it's watercolor paper, so it's super absorbent, and it'll take a variety of media very, very well. So those would be my recommendations for you. Oh, the speed coloring. Well, you don't need special paper for that. That's just for fun. Don't go crazy spending money on that. But yeah, the speed coloring, that should be so much fun. For those of you who don't know, I have a Facebook group, and in the group we're doing a challenge this weekend. It starts today, where we're doing a speed coloring challenge. So that's the first mini challenge that I've set up in the group. But we're going to do a whole lot more challenges. So if you guys like contests and challenges, it's not really contests because it's going to be a random winner. So there's no skill needed. But yeah, if you like doing that kind of stuff, you should totally join us on Facebook. And for that group, it's Color with Laura. I'll put the link in the description after the video is over. So now I'm just doing these tiny little curls. And it might not look very good right now, but that's because I'm kind of just putting down the darks. We're going to smooth it all out. Okay, let me put a little bit of color right there. And let's see here. here. This guy over here needs a little color. So again with the hair, I just try and sort of work equally all over. And that's a flower, so we're good there. Let's do a little bit more. Shading right there. And right behind this antler here. Now this is a little tricky. Let's do this little bit. So I'm going to actually outline the antler. And then I'll just use the marker to there we go. That's all right. Okay, so we're getting there. Let's do this bit here. I do love this color. It's a nice warm brown. A little bit more here. Let's do this. Oh, good. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm always happy to answer questions about materials. Yeah, I'd love to see them. Don't forget to tag me. I love seeing, like, that's my favorite part about making these pages, is seeing how people color them. So yeah, don't forget to tag me and show me. Okay, so I think that's coming along. I'm going to swap over to a lighter color. This is like a salmon color, so I'm not going to use too much of it, but I do want to create some vibrancy. So just along the edges where I've left the paper blank, I'm just going to kind of and I'm still leaving a little spot at least for the spot of the highlight. Oh, good. Yeah, definitely. Everybody's welcome in my Facebook group. And it's Color with Laura. So if you search that, or you can just do Facebook and then groups and then Color with Laura, you'll see me there. And we have so much fun. I love that group so much. Everybody's so sweet and supportive. And there's some really amazing coloring going on there too. So I would definitely join us up. Have some fun. Yep, and I'll be giving away free pages. I have a free coloring page up right now. It's actually 3 pages, and it's from the practice sections of my book. So if you want to practice coloring skin tone, you definitely want to snag that. That ends at the end of the month. And then I'll put a different one up. So you'll get free pages that way. Yeah, I do a gray version. It's not grayscale necessarily. None of my work is full grayscale because I like to leave space for colorists to put their own interpretation on it. But I do a lighter gray line and a darker line. So if you have trouble seeing the light gray line, the pencil that I draw with, I do offer a darker version for those of you who have trouble seeing it. And I just do this because, you know, I know that some people have trouble seeing the lighter lines that I draw. But a lot of people do like the light lines too, so I offer both. Why not? Alright, so now she's looking more vibrant. Oh, I forgot a little spot here. See, and these guys here, all these little strands. Yep, okay. So now I'm going to go in with the very darkest color I'm going to use. I'm going to use this 969. Oh wait, did I tell you which one this one was? This was a 912. I'm so sorry if I didn't. So that one there that I was using is the 912. And then I'm going to switch over to the 969. And this I'm just going to use in the very darkest spots. So the part of her hair and right under here where like this hair is kind of flowing over the other bits. And just kind of getting in the dark shadowy spots. And then once I do this, I'm going to go over it with pencil too, just to kind of give it more depth and more softness, because right now it's looking a little too rough for my taste. So I'm trying to be fairly selective because I don't want it to get too dark. I definitely want her to be like a chestnut redhead kind of. So I don't want to use this too much, but it does give more contrast, more dimension. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a very popular page. So yeah, I'm really glad that that's on Etsy. Let's see here. Oh, thank you. Yep, it's getting there. We're gonna still add some layers to it, but it is definitely a lot quicker with the marker. This would take me a lot longer with pencil. And there's nothing wrong with it taking a long time, but for the videos, I do like to keep it kind of snappy. I do respect that you guys are busy. I will sometimes do pure colored pencil drawings, when I'm by myself, but for the videos, I find that it's just nicer to kind of speed things up for you guys. So yeah, just getting in that hair. Let's see where else needs some dark. Well, that's a great question. I've been drawing and painting my whole life, so I'll preface by that. I've always been an artist. I've been in gallery shows and I've done a lot of private commissions for people. I've also worked on several murals in the Philadelphia Mural Arts Association. So I've always been drawing and painting. But I started coloring in July of 2017, so last year. And I fell in love with coloring because I was stressed out and some of my paintings weren't working the way I wanted to, and I just needed a break from trying to create my own designs, I guess. So I started coloring. My first coloring book was a gift, and it actually sat unused for several months before I picked it up. But when I did need to relax and just color, it was there for me. And so I started coloring, and I loved it. I joined Instagram and really made quick friends and enjoyed the community. And that's kind of how I got hooked on it, was actually from the friends I made. So then after about 2 months of coloring pretty intensely, I started drawing my own book. And so I put out my first book that same year, actually, only a few months later. And my first book, it was a big learning curve. I was very nervous about doing it, and but I pushed through, and it was funded on Kickstarter because I didn't have money to actually purchase the printing of it myself. And yeah, so that's sort of how I got started. I was a colorist. I was an artist, then a colorist, and now a coloring book illustrator. And yeah, so I really now I can't seem to stop. um, yeah, I just love it. It's really, really fun. I love seeing the interpretations from the community. That's what keeps me going, is every time I see a new page colored, I'm like, oh, I gotta do another page. Like, it just inspires me so much. So really love, love, love seeing everybody's work. And the collaborations are just sometimes like blow me away, like things I would never have thought of doing myself. So yeah, that's really the main reason why I do it now, is I just love seeing everybody else's stuff. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how the marker is looking there. But now looking at the marker and how dark it is, I kind of want to go back into the face, the skin tone of the face. And this happens to me a lot. Once I see things in context, I tend to go back and kind of adjust a little bit as needed.